Okay, I think that fixes it. Yep. Okay. To do is started, so I think we're good to go now.
あなたの教えを受け入れる準備ができました。愛と痛みが私たちの魂に染み渡り、主が
Oh, winning hand class makes the use of it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go through. Budget is only 30 because that's faster.
ペイ抜きしますね。ポン。ペイ抜きしますね。ポン。
ポン。
残念ですが、また今度お会いしましょうね。
ロン。私の勝ち。さあ、ドラ1。
ペイ抜きしますね。リーチ。
リーチ。私にお手柔らかにしない方がいいわよ。その優しさは
ペイ抜きしますね。
報われないわよ。妻。リーチ。妻。赤ドラ1。 もうオーラスなの？ペー抜き。
ペー抜きしますね。ペー抜きしますね。ペー抜きしますね。
ポンするわね。
残念ですが、また今度お会いしましょうね。
ポン。間違っているのは私じゃないわ。この世界よ。 き。ポン。スタート。スタート。ポン。スタッカート。ポン。ロン。私の勝ち。純、本一、ペイ、ドラ1、マンガン。ペイ抜き。リーチ。リーチ。私にお手柔らかにしない方がいいわよ。その優しさは報われないわよ。リーチ一発、ツモ、ドラ1。 リーチ怯えないでね。この歌を聴いてください。リーチ。ロン。リーチ、赤ドラ1、ドラ3。マンガン。もうオーラスなの？ペー抜き。ペー抜き。ポン。スタート。この歌を聴いてください。リーチ。ロン。リーチ、一発、初、赤ドラ1、ペードラ1、ドラ3。パイマン。人生は短いんだから。
Okay, so I know I usually don't. I don't want to say apologize. I think acknowledge is a better word. I usually don't acknowledge when I go silent on these screens because you're used to me not talking about much because I'm so locked in. And I'm usually doing something else on my second monitor, but I got a good question in chat and I was typing out responses to it because I figured if I said it bubbly, hey, there's already a 5-minute delay. Because for honestly pretty much every mission client that I play has a rule that you have to delay your stream by at least 5 minutes for fairness and matches. But also I feel like because of the voice changer, I think things might get lost in translation because the voice changer can be a little hard to understand. I acknowledge that, so I typed everything in chat, and my chat replay,
ここで
I
さ
believe, is enabled for every stream, so you'll probably be able to see this. I might even make a post, even just a short video, explaining like strategy for beginners, like Riichi City for dummies. So, I guess I can just kind of more casually explain in detail what I sent in chat because, you know, hey, there's a counter limit per message, so I could only put like one rule in one message. Which is, I mean, a chat has that rule. I mean, I understand why. But you can leave basically into the comments and YouTube sections now because ever since Google bought them out, kids these days don't know what I've been on YouTube for a very long time. There used to be character limits in comment sections, but as soon as Google Plus came around, no more character limits in comment sections. So you could comment probably the entirety of One Piece in my comment section, and there's nothing I can do about it until after the fact if I delete your comment. But it would be funny if somebody attempted to do that. I'm not gonna lie, that would be funny. But to explain in a bit more detail, since I get frustrated on counter limits, so my first tip is Riichi City, when you first start playing, it automatically puts you through a tutorial.
これどうしないと
And when I was playing the tutorial, I was so gung-ho about playing the game that I was like, I don't need the tutorial. This can't be as hard as it's trying to make it out to be. And so I jumped in, not knowing anything, not knowing how to play. When I first started playing, like that
これ
first
どうし
month,
ないと
I didn't know, like, how to
かん
get my... I didn't know how to get my hand eligible for Riichi. For newbies who don't know what that means, if your hand is in Riichi, like when you see a mist and when the button comes up, that means you have a closed hand, and when you call Riichi, you're one or more tile away from winning. Because sometimes you can call Riichi and have multiple tiles that will let you in, but it's usually a minimum of one tile. And there's also another word for if you're one tile away from Riichi, but I forget what that is. So off the top of my head, I don't know that. But there is a term for being like one tile away from being able to play Riichi, and I've been playing for long enough where I can tell when that's gonna happen. Back when I was first playing, I would call everything. Like as soon as Cheap Kong came up, I would call it. I didn't know how to read hands. I didn't know how to build hands. I had no idea how to make the
もう
Riichi
終わら
button
せ
come
な
up. Because I skipped through the tutorial because I thought, well, I'm too smart for this. I don't need to listen to what this tutorial is telling me. So please, when you first start playing, Riichi City, Amatsuki also kind of has a tutorial as well. Unfortunately, Amatsuki isn't that well translated to English because the dev team is Chinese and they don't really have anybody on staff that speaks English. Not like they do kind of, but the translations can sometimes be really off because I don't think they really have any fluent English speakers on that team. But they do have tutorials for all their different variants. So whenever you first start playing any Mahjong client for the first time, don't skip out on tutorials. Because I skipped out on tutorials and I paid the price because I had to basically brute force trial and error my way through. And I really had to study hands till I really was able to read them. But honestly, the thing that is most helpful, besides actually paying attention to the tutorials, is also just practicing and playing a lot. Like, I log in every day, and some days, I will play a lot of games just to get through the weeklies, but if I log in on like a regular weekday, I usually don't really play too many games unless it's like the end of the week and I'm like, oh my god, I have to automatic I forgot about that. But I don't even think that people necessarily need to play as much as I do to actually learn this game, because, you know, not everybody has a whole Sunday afternoon evening to set aside to play a shit ton of Mahjong and lose all the time. But really, you practice at least like a little each day. You don't need to jump into ranked matches if you don't feel you're ready for those. You can absolutely play like casual matches. You do get some rewards now for playing the Mahjong Academy CPU matches. Like they have practice matches for both 3P and 4P, and you can get credits that like shape with the graduation caps now. Hanuman, let's go. Also, the Mahjong Academy, that first got introduced, I think it was earlier this year. And it's good in the beginning for, like, learning what hands you win and why. But then it starts to go into a bunch of useful stuff like, oh, how much hand is this hand worth? How much food is this worth? What score is this worth? And, like, the game does that for you. You don't need to learn that. Like, it's much more helpful to just, you know, be able to read what your hands are, be able to build your sequences, your triplets, you know, what's your yakko, what's not. Also, brilliant segue into the next point. When you're playing Riichi City, I'm not gonna touch, all the other variants that I play, because that's gonna get confusing for a new player. I would say, probably the easiest form of Mahjong, and I'm only doing from my personal experience, but I think teaching Riichi Mahjong first, that's probably the easiest variant to learn first. I know some people will say, like, Sichuan is easier to learn for beginners, and yeah, kind of, because you can call out everything, but I would say Riichi's probably easiest to teach a new player. Hong Kong is the hardest variant to learn, and I've been playing that for a very long time, and I still don't think that I'm deserving of my platinum dollar rank in Irmaski for that. 3 fun minimum per hand. Seems easy to players that don't know what I'm talking about, but it's not. But, in other variants, you can call everything and still win big. Like, Toy Toy in, whether you're playing 3P or 4P in Riichi City, it's kind of a garbage hand, like, it's kind of one of those last-ditch effort trying to wins. The better win, oddly enough, is Sulanko or Sulanko Tanki, which is a whole hand of concealed templates. For some reason, Toy Toy is pretty easy to get because it's easier to color everything, but when you're waiting to draw all those in your hand, that's why that, Sulanko is a Yakuman. And I believe the difference between just plain old Sulanko and Sulanko Tanki is that Sulanko Tanki has a combination of the concealed triplets and Sununko, I believe. I think that's what I read the last time, but don't quote me on what these stats mean. I'm not that much of a, like, I don't read books. I have dyslexia, I don't like books. Disclaimer is, my dyslexia is actually quite minor to the point that I didn't know I had it till I was an adult. It's my dyscalculia that's much worse. But usually the presence of dyscalculia means you also have dyslexia, even if you have it in a minor form. That's how he did it. So for Mission, but also for Key especially, it's better for you to learn to read your hands and wait till your hand is in Riichi. Because until you kind of have knowledge of advanced play styles, it's just not colorblind. Like, the punchy con stuff, it can be tempting to call everything when that line comes up, but I wouldn't start doing them until you know how to build your hands well. Also, Seatland. So for me, and you can change, in the middle of the table, the red spot is east, I'm in south, and then the person to my right is west. You can change those to have, the English versions if I know the kanji between east and west, or not east and west and south. They can get a little confusing to you players. It's not quite similar, but it'll always tell you what seat you're in, and, most of the time I end up playing east only, but if you're playing a Harshan, pay attention for when the game switches to south, because your prevailing wind is gonna change. Now your seat wind typically changes every round that doesn't have Honda extended onto it, I believe. So, if I... Well, I still have a chance probably, but if I get a second south, and somebody discards a south, I can pull that, and that is an automatic... Yeah, that automatically counts because that's my seat wind. Now, when you play east only, prevailing wind, if you have a split of east localities, that's automatically a Yaku if you are in an east round. Now, if you are in Hanchan or you don't have enough points, like no one on the table has enough points, and it goes to an actual round of south, then having a pawn or con out of south is an automatic Yaku too. And then I still have a chance for White Giant, but we're probably gonna run out of tiles. But if you have Light, Gleam, or Red Dragon, a triplet of any of those is one Yaku. If you have triplets 2 or 3, that's also very good for building a big hand. So for new players, I say, if you're having trouble, ordering the tiles, which that's fair, it is a lot to learn. I'm not gonna say, like, oh my god, people are so stupid they can't read their tiles. Like, nah. When I was first starting out, I had no fucking clue. But I would avoid chi. That's when you pull a sequence off the person to your left. Now, I don't think you can chi and sleep chi, because that's counter rules. One thing that makes it different is that you can't call chi. You can plan stuff, but most of the numbers are omitted from, like, the actual tiles that you can draw. Like, the demo doesn't have most of the numbers. So 1 and 9 are the only terminals left for the numbers to. So I know I have my own goofy news for the seats, but numbers It goes, man is numbers. Keen is what I call balls. Oh god, my lights look good in my house. For a second when I said that. It knows I'm talking about balls. Actually, I think it's just, the weather might be bad again. Oh god, all the characters started talking at once. But Keen is the balls of all circles. And then the sticks. I call them sticks. The more cop I am is bamboo because I'll shit like bamboo except for the bonus dot. I don't know what that's about. But there's a so. And then the 1-9, that's important for some hands, like 13 or hands, but that's like advanced 400 Nishan and we're well 1 right now, so don't need to worry about that much. But those what's called your CG tiles. Generally, the only time I would try to go for Fukushima Soul, which is 13 orphans, that's only if my hand is already kind of leaning that way, or also, if I have a 9 combo draw, and instead of calling Kishikyu, I just go for it, which but sometimes I don't do that. So, yeah, you can do Tanya hands. That's a pretty easy Yakuza one, like only one time you know what you're doing. I think it's easier to hang on to on the tiles first. Also, I forgot to mention that Konitsu, which is probably what I'm gonna get if I win, that's one same suit, so in my case I have a bunch of balls. And then Hamisu is kind of like a half flush where you have only one suit and then a bunch of other tiles. So I have two white dragons, leading up 3 more. Fuck! Go to Chubba. And the rest are daughter tiles too, come on there. Yeah, I would say stop going for Tanya once you know how to read the tiles, once you know what, how many sequences and couplets you got. But open Tanya, at least in Riichi Mission, whether you're playing 3 or 4 those usually can't when I'm around unless you have another Yaku with it. Like if you have Shinichi, you can do open Tanya. Not as big as a closed Shinichi usually. I put away Sashika Dojin, maybe Samanko. Yeah, Tanya, it secretly disguises itself as like, oh, I'm an easy Yaku to get. I'm such an easy hand to win with, but you really kind of need to know how to read the hands first. So yeah, really, the best way is to just practice a lot, and one thing that is true in the genre, no matter what variant you play, you are going to lose a lot, and it's going to be very frustrating. Like, I just won this, so that was a really bad exam. That was really bad timing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna use a lot, and then I won that, okay, but it wasn't enough to save me at a third, so I guess I did still make a point. Mahjong is a very frustrating game because you can still learn how to be an excellent player. You can still, develop a lot of strategy. You can really get up there. Like, in the year that I've been playing, I've gotten up to forced dominant Riichi and so dominant Porky. I believe I said that right. Anyway, you can have basically all the knowledge that it would take to play Mahjong and be, I don't know if I consider myself an advanced player. I mean, I guess it counts. I guess I could say that. At least for
ファン
Riichi. Because there have been several of the streamer battles that I've at least been on the top 20 for. But this is a game that is based on a lot of probability and chance. And sometimes you just don't know what is going to be drawn, you don't know what's going to be discarded, you don't know what hands anyone has. Especially in a rank match. Like, in Castle, like, fun matches, you can have open Riichi, you can have fully open hands to study. But in the moment, usually you don't know what's gonna happen. So it can be a bit of a risky game to play. There are times, not so much in Riichi City because there's not a lot of lines, but more so in Amatsuki. There have been a lot of times that I've been demoted and lost rank and have had to crawl back up. Like, even if you really dedicate yourself to learning, there are going to be a lot of times that you lose because that's Mahjong, really. Like, it can be a very unpredictable game. I mean, it's technically gambling, even though in Riichi City and Amaski, you're usually gambling with funny money, like Indian currency and not real world money. I don't think I would recommend most people new to Mahjong go, like, out and play Mahjong with real world money because you'll eventually be getting the mortgage if you go down that route. But it's like a lot of other gambling games, like poker, just really any other game where there's a lot of probability and chance, and you can still be a very big player. Like, somebody, he's even done about me, like, seventh, somebody who's allowed to play in the Galaxy room, and you can still lose a ton. So, be prepared to
手
be
を抜きます
humbled by this game over and over again because this is not a fair game. It's not. I mean, fair in the sense that, you do lose a lot, but I think it just makes the winning part of it even better. Like, that time I got my first Yakuman, I think it was. What did I get? I would have to go back through my logs. It was a very long time ago, but I got a Yakuman, and in this game, I don't know if I'll see one today, but Yakumans will usually have, like, a full animated cutscene, and the first time I got one, that was magical, and I didn't even end up winning that game. Because you can still get a huge Yakuman and still not win the actual match. But it can be humbling, it can be a lot of fun. I also, finally won a 266 player tournament. I need to actually check my messages to see what date that was. But the key to Mahjong is, learn from your mistakes, look at your logs, and don't forget to say Amatsuki, which are basically the main ones that I play. I played a couple others, but those are really the two that I stuck with.
リーチ、ドラ3、ペイ、ドラ2、ドラ
You
1
can look at your logs. You can even, I don't believe they have a feature like this in Amatsuki yet, because it's much newer. But in Riichi City, you can even use, their wisdom crystals for analyzing how you did in the match, and what the AI would choose, what you should do better. Like, it basically takes the automatic AI of the game and has it actually help you and work in your favor, which can't be said for a lot of other things that AI does. But really stick with it and be consistent because, again, it's one of those skills that if you don't use it, you lose it. Like, I have read charts, I've read, strategy books, I've read tools theory, but really, I think the thing that's helped me the most is just playing in trial by error. Like, trial and error is just kind of how I tend to learn. Like, there's been times when, I read tutorials, but generally, I'm the type of person that learns much more by doing other than, Sinful's boring ass tutorial. I mean, I do make things harder on myself doing that,
ロン
probably. Most likely. God damn.
白本一
But really, this is, at the end of the day, this is a game. This is something with an interactive element that you really should be playing yourself, Like, you can still read the Mahjong strategy theory that exists in the world, and you can still lose hard because this game just, by nature, isn't fair. Like, it just depends on probability, chance. And although I think, my chances are better at winning now and playing better now because I've been playing for so long that I've learned how to read tiles and actually play. And I even have some Yakumans committed to memory. And I think I can get 13 orphans every time I try to go for it, but I don't. Because of somebody we got in her hand to get. I don't know why these days look at it, but even though I think, I'm a pretty decent player now, like, I don't know if I'd ever go as far as saying, like, oh, I'm an expert, I could play at a pro team, because even the worst pro player, like, not this current season with Emily, but last season when they had the Pudding Kazan collab, oh my god, Pudding Kazan was so bad. They were like second to last worst team in the league. I was like, why are you partnering with Riichi City when you're like the worst? Not mass. But even like the worst sitting Kazan team player could probably easily beat me because they've been playing Michonne like the whole life, and I've only been playing you, and I'm 26 now, so. So, defensive play, I'm not play so much about that, but mostly if you're in such the second and you're worried about somebody winning off you, try studying the center discard pile. I know this probably has a name, but I just call it the discard pile, whatever. But check that, and there's settings in the game where you can, like, if you have a tile in your hand and you want to see how many on the board, you can just click it once, and then it'll show you where it appears on the board to right now only one others has been discarded. But that's quite helpful for figuring out, like, okay, maybe this is going to be safe to discard. And sometimes your assessment of what's on the board may be wrong because what was a safe tile to discard last round might not be a safe tile to discard in that round. I've had that happen to me several times. And
ま
a
だ
lot
できてい
of
ません
like turbo skill players will also not declare Riichi, but will have a like a hand that's closed.
パン
And I mean, I usually default to calling Riichi because Usually it's a little more in the daily silver cushions.
つも
But anytime you call Riichi, you basically take 1,000 points off your score to declare Riichi by you did a lot of wins back if you win by Riichi. But some people will have a ready hand that's closed and they won't call Riichi. And that way, they don't give up that 1,000 points, and then if they're sure they're gonna win, they maximize points that they get. But that's a little too much skill for me, so I haven't ever done that. That is like dirtbag Mahjong strategy, and I'm so jealous of people who can pull that off because that is such a devious smart move. So yeah, sometimes you don't even want to play to make sure your hand wins. Sometimes you just want to play so somebody else gets their point stolen off and so you stay where you are. So I probably should play a 4P game to demonstrate this, but 4P is a bit more, it's slower play because there's more tiles to go through. Riichi Mahjong doesn't use flower tiles like other variants do. Like Hong Kong, Sichuan, I believe Taiwanese also uses it.
リーチこれはお酒が美味しい
But your strategy and paying attention to the game matters more there.
神の領域へ
3PU is much faster to play because most of the number tiles are eliminated and
リーチ
it's much easier to win with bigger hands.
3アンコドラ3ペイドラ1
Like probably what I'm about to do right now with this Spyman, yeah. Ah! So most of the times I've ever had, Yakuman comes from Wiki because they're much easier to get in this Wiki. So really, yeah, obviously don't do right, don't skip the tutorials, don't think they're unimportant. What really matters is having like a dedicated grind to this game, like logging in every day, playing, even like reviewing your logs, like kind of doing your homework on the side about it. One day I might get into the strategy I have for Matsuki, but
ペイ
thing is, I can't help you with Taiwanese Mahjong. I know how to play because it's a lot like Sichuan, except you don't exchange tiles, you don't have a dead suit. You can call everything. It's 16 tiles, but once you know to account for how many sequences and templates you have in your hand and what your hand looks like, it's not that much harder than any other variants that only have 13 tiles in the hand, 14 to win. But for some reason, I blow ass at, specifically in Matsuki Taiwanese Mahjong. I want to say my boyfriend is much higher than that than I am, but I don't know what it is. I feel like I have a perfectly signed strategy for Taiwanese that I always get fisted when I play that variant. And then for some reason, I stumbled into Hong Kong thinking like, let's try this, and I could not stop winning. I got up so high, and that was before I really had any strategy. So I am Platinum Dawn 1, I think. I keep coming between Platinum Dawn 1 and 2 because I keep getting demoted. But for some reason, I have an extremely high rank in Hong Kong, and I don't even think my strategy is particularly that good. I just stand a couple of hands that meet the 35 minimum. Yeah, I got 2 more. I think I'll do another 2 for the key just because I want to get done as soon as possible. But yeah, reaching this one, I mean, once you start playing other variants, like HK especially, pisses me off most of the time, but I can't stop playing it. Lucy Mujon, it does get easier. The only thing that sucks is just, again, it's a probability chance game. It's just, you know, sometimes you come in and you think you're gonna win and you just go to Chinese Hall. You get negative points and it's over. But yeah, definitely persevere. It's just, it's a guarantee that you're gonna lose a lot. But the more that you win, the more that you win. I need to, I need to choose my words better. I need to go back to school. But the more that you learn from your losses is what I meant to say. The better that you're gonna do. Because there may be times where you're making a simple mistake and you don't realize that until you actually go back and look at your games and like, oh, this is what I did instead. And so it's I know, I can't really count it with another words like that. It's just an unpredictable game, and sometimes you're gonna just like what was that one time? I was playing a Hong Kong game in a map skin. I wasn't really paying attention to it, and it got to the last round, and I won with Chiho, which is Tenho is my you win with a winning hand out of your first turn, which is something that hardly ever happens. That is like the craziest yakuman you can get. But I got Chiho in Hong Kong because I had a bunch of flowers and a winning hand. And basically, just because of how the rules go when you have how everybody your flowers, you can't actually put them in play. I won with Chiho and it was like 96,000 points. And I turned that game around from being like in third place to being first and decimating everyone else around me. But that's also like, that's just luck. That's just something that never happened. I'm probably gonna get this in chat because it's gonna be another 5-minute delay. Yakuza. Okay, so Yakuza Mission is reaching the John. It's just 4K only. I don't think there is any 40K Japanese Mission in Yakuza. The only thing is, depending on what Yakuza game you're playing, is how many quality of life improvements you have. So, like, if you're playing Yakuza 0, they just throw you to the wolves. Like, when I first started playing, this is how long this is taking me. When I first started playing Yakuza 0 in 2020, I had no idea how to play Mahjong, obviously, because I didn't go up around this, I didn't play this ever. And that that's like going into there's a mission client called Tenho, and that is like the first mission client that was able to make for computers. I think back in the early 90s, maybe. And it really hasn't changed much in that time, but it is. It's like going into that with no knowledge of how to play Mahjong, and you also basically just told, okay, you get told when you start playing, okay, good luck. That's it. Now, when I was playing Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, by that time, I'd been playing Mahjong like for a couple months by that point. And I can't remember how long exactly it took me to play. I think it took me a month or so, but I still was able to clear the Mahjong stuff because the good thing, well, of course, the quality of life improvements in Yakuza and Hawaii do. It's probably my favorite Yakuza game to play Mahjong in, honestly. Like, it actually hints to you when you're supposed to call Riichi. Instead of Yakuza 0, which is just like, oh no, you have to figure this out on your own.
怯えないでね。これはお酒が美
But
味
the
しい
good thing is that no matter what Yakuza Mahjong minigame you play, you have infinite time. Like when you play Riichi City you play against. Well, sometimes you play against bots, and you can set a custom time, but if you're playing the right match, you have to make pretty snap decisions because you only have a limited amount of time to actually make your discard. And if you suddenly go AFK or you don't respond, that can take points off you. That can flatten your standing in the game. And that's something that happened to me like really early on playing, and I only did it once. So I just got running. But I had a big threat to my honor points by not responding quickly enough and going AFK. But in Yakuza, you don't have to worry about that. So I'm gonna describe this in chat as simply as I can. But basically, Yakuza Mahjong is 4K Riichi Mahjong with infinitely less tutorial. One thing I love about Riichi City is that it literally takes your hand, holds it, and walks you through the entire learning process of Mahjong, so there is no mystery to it. Now, obviously, I blazed past all that and didn't listen to any of the tutorials, and then I paid the price for it by not knowing how to do anything. But Riichi City has a lot of incentive for playing the game. It has a lot of, like, even if you are a total beginner, this is the Mahjong client that I recommend to people most of all. Like, Amatsuki, I still recommend that because it has so many other variants of Mahjong to play, so you're not just stuck with Japanese ratio mode. But I think playing Riichi City absolutely helped me solidify Yakuza Mahjong because there is kind of a tutorial, but you really, this is one of those things where you just have to learn by doing and not by reading. It's like any other gambling game or even a sport. Like, yeah, you can watch ice hockey all you want, you can be a fan, you can know all the rules, but if you don't get up there on the ice and play it, then you can't really call yourself a hockey player, right? Like, even though I grew up watching my little brother play ice hockey all the time, I could never call myself a player because I never actually devoted any time to learning how to play a sport. Like, I learned how to ice skate, but I never learned how to play ice hockey. So, now this is definitely a thing you learn by doing, but Yakuza minigame Mahjong does not teach you. So yeah, Riichi City is absolutely helpful in teaching you. You just have to get past all the, like, almost naked ladies and stuff. I say as I bought a $20 Elsie outfit where she's barely clothed. That's every time it cuts to my lobby in this game, she's like, hey, no Kagi, and he's like, this is my mom. Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, I have a bias towards Bleaky because it's faster, I win more. I'm usually in the top 20 or top 25 at the end of the week for Sleepy. I don't know if I mentioned the pay-to-win stuff, but yeah, this game, just because of how much on this design period you can't cheat, there are now ways to play to win this game. Pay to win. How do I say play to win? Oh my god. No, you can't pay to win, you can't cheat. The only thing you can really pay for is like characters and cosmetics. Which is why I spent all this money on those random one. I do have a Christmas tabletop I should switch to. I will say, they do give you free tokens, like, at least 2. I mean, sometimes more, they, like, issue an apology for that there's, like, an event going on. But it's pretty easy to stock up on those tokens, and the gotcha's is pretty generous, like, even before I ever dropped money on this game, which hasn't been often to be said. I've only made, like, 2 purchases for this game with real money. Like, even when I was, like, a completely free-to-play player, I still got a generous amount of characters. I got a generous amount of cosmetics and tiles and tabletops animations, you know that? I even pulled Akagi for free back when they were running, that collab. It was so funny because I had one, Lucky token, and I pulled, like, thinking I was gonna get nothing, and then boom, Akagi was there. So far, that's the only no count I have. I'm not maybe. I know somebody's probably gonna argue with me and necessarily with this, but you're gonna have to go all the way through the slide till the, like, second last game, so who cares? The male character selection in this game is really bad. I'm sorry, it just is. They're not interesting. There's not enough variation. There's just not enough male characters in general. And I guess that I just don't think that male characters are popular, but, like, you don't have enough male characters in this game to have a popularity contest among the male characters. Like, one of your male characters is the most annoying, insufferable panda fly thing. And oh my god, I hate that panda so much. Every person that plays him is always, like, infinitely better than me and always wins against me. Disgusting, disgusting. I hate that panda. I hate him, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him. And then the other male characters just aren't really interesting enough to appeal to me. Like, it's not that they're particularly terrible or they have bad designs or anything. I mean, some of them have really annoying voices, but they're just kind of meh. Like, can you at least put some more variation in their characters? Like, almost every, like, female demographic can be sound. Except for black women. Who said that? But nearly every woman of shape, size, and age you can find in this game, but then the male characters are just kinda meh. Who cares? See, one day, in my perfect world, there didn't run the Yakuza collab, and I am going to have the Majima,
脳天
mission outfit pack of my dreams. Probably not getting an Ishitani one. Because it gets dicey whenever a voice provider, like, literally dies. Because there's a difference when, like, this actor gets replaced because, you know, they had some crazy, like, drum charge or something. Like, it's different when they just out replace, like, a second, but when Keiji Fujiwara died of cancer, they were like, fuck, we probably can't, like, put Nishitani in anything ever again, just out of respect. And he wasn't even really particularly a likeness actor. Like, a likeness actor would be somebody more like, how do I say, Homeran's Tommy the Third from Guiding this Mortal Likeness Actor. Those kinds of likeness actors are really wrapped up in contracts and stipulations, and so usually there's some deal to appear in one game, but when you have a dead, respected voice actor in just Africa's Canada in general, because in case you could you ever just bat some massive performance. When you hear something like that, it's not just as easy as only cast another guy. Like, there was only one original Nishitani the first. But Majima, absolutely. And I mean, they wouldn't have to do too much horror voice lines because there's already a bunch of samples for characters that play Mahjong. Like, at least the most nasal ones, like Majima Kitty, Saishima Akiyama. Tony Muda might have some, but I don't think they'll play him in. But a lot of, you know, main or even just kind of behind support characters do have a lot of voice lines for it, so
G
they hardly using assets because something's broke. If something isn't broke, you don't need to fix it. That's what I meant. I know how to say words good. I went to college. That's a joke, actually. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts.
G
I feel like I am 1 or 2 tiles away. Please. I wanna like end some high note, but I'm in forest. Oh god. There's also, it's not a requirement to play Mahjong necessarily, but I also have a couple physical sets. I might play against myself in physical Mahjong. I tried to get my other family members playing it as well. But a lot of them don't like dedicating themselves to learning, and it's very frustrating trying to get them to play with me, honestly. So, usually I'm just doing it by myself. But that can also really help you learn it. Especially because there's not really any time constraints either. I also, there's probably an equivalent that you can use if you have Android, but if you're on
曲線
iOS,
を
I
下を
prefer to use it on my
4
phone.
タンヤをスター1
It's very, because usually whenever I'm using my physical set, I'm not home. I mean, I obviously use my physical set at home too, but
もう終わらせ
there's an app on iOS called the John Camera, and it will keep your game records of physical games. It will, you can create a table with 4 players. You can set it to be hands-on or just ace only. And then you can set whatever somebody's called Riichi, you can set it somebody won by Sumo or whether we won by Brown of someone else. And the thing I find most valuable is that there is a weight calculator where you can either type it in my hand or when a hand wins, you can take a picture of it and then adjust it. It'll tell you how exactly the hand scored and how many points it was. It's an incredibly useful app for me now. Most of the time, I don't necessarily need to use the weight calculator for, oh, is this hand winning? I don't know if this hand is winning. I usually don't need to do that now because I've just played so much and I've had these hands burned into my retinas. I've had journeys about Mahjong before, not fun. But also, honestly, I just used the camera that shows me how much a hand scored because I'm curious, like, how big of a hand someone won. I think my boyfriend tried memorizing how hands score, which some players, like if you watch a Rita Kaki, they have to memorize what their hands score. Because I guess this takes place in like the 60s, 70s. And there wasn't any electronic or automatic methods. Like, I think they had, I don't know if they invented automatic tables back then. Riichi City is based on the kind of modern magnetic cables where the tiles are magnetized. So the bottom and the back, they can stick to the table and then you just push them into the center and then they automatically deal out. I don't know if they had those back then, but I think they had some kind of variation of magnetic cables because I do see them moving like that in the Kadi. But God, imagining having to calculate how much my hand won just in my head. That freaks me out. I could never survive playing Mahjong in like 60s, 70s Japan. I mean, most of the time, I usually will use Mahjong Cam, so I probably shouldn't include me in that, but if my boyfriend's playing with his family or she's just doing like a match solo against himself, he'll just count like who won the round and not even really care about the exact scoring. So on the 20th, this one, my family meets up for a big Christmas celebration since we usually have it a few days before because usually on Christmas Day we can't meet. There's too many factors. Like, we all live so far apart from each other and it would be hell to try to congregate on Christmas Day, so maybe at that celebration I'll be able to come some slightly family members into playing this arm with me and maybe getting some pennies out of them. Like, instead of, I know in Yakuza, the entry level for the table depends on difficulty, but some of them are like hundreds of dollars you have to pay to get in, and you didn't even know who to win. And you're probably not, because it's Yakuza Mission, it's hard as hell. Yeah. Like, yeah, those are my tips as somebody else who started out as a total amateur last year, didn't know what I was doing at all. So, I mean, don't quote me on every single thing, but I don't know, I got to force them and sleepy somehow, so I guess I'm doing something right. And when I was first playing, I was so mean to myself because I saw people that were advancing faster than me, and I was like, oh, why can't that be me? I'm so stupid. How am I not doing this right? But
済んだ。私のダイヤの
Nowadays, I'm just like, oh, this game kind of sucks. I really want to play it. The only way to not let me down is to not play. So I'm not like tying myself worse to how well I do at
人
Mizan
生は
anymore.
短いんだから。
And the only real thing that's being hurt is my pride and ego and whatever my in-game balances. I used to have like 1,000,000 coins in this game, but then I spent a ton of that to try to awaken Psycho because she doesn't have a normal awakening thing. Like, let me pull up the random one. I think Mary has a normal now. Okay, so that is my normal now. Oh my god, audio. Can you have a normal now? Okay, so yeah. Usually, you only need 3 of these alpha coupons and 5 of these item shards to awaken characters. And these are purchasable when you do a gacha pull and you get a stamp award and then you exchange those. Like, Psycho didn't have that. You needed 5 perfumes. And I have 3 now, but I already awakened a while ago. You need 5 of the perfumes, and I thought, okay, well, how high is that going to be to get? I needed to spend so much funny money to get those. And I wouldn't say like I'm broke in this game, but oh my god, I was spending way too much in that coin store.
私の気持ちをありがとう、ありがとう、ありがとう、ありがとう、ありがとう、ありがとう、ありがとう。
Okay, she's almost level 2. I don't know about Keeper is my in-game character. I miss the copy. Well, oh my god, I have to show the Stuckhouse Awakening outfit. Why is this the Awakening outfit? Look, my hair's just ugly. My hair's just fucking ugly again. Look at him. Oh my god. They usually say that yellow don't crack, but oh my god. And then, no. Change it back. And then, I didn't think to grab the Winter Time outfit. This is such a better Awakening outfit. I mean, look at this. It's so much fucking cooler. She's got shoes on. That's a joke because, either the artist for Riichi City or whoever's making them draw has like the really obvious hook that is. And it's in every single outfit. Get it away from me. Yeah, me and the Discord pals do play this out sometimes. Sometimes we'll do family matches, sometimes they like end up in my match together. I'm like, oh my god, there you are. I don't really find matches in the Riichi City or Amatsuki Discord. Well, the Amatsuki server is like populated by predominantly Chinese people that don't really speak English. So there's not a lot of people that I feel like I can actually talk to in there. Because I would have to machine translate Chinese. I can kind of get by with Japanese because I've just been around that language for a very long time. Chinese is such a difficult language for me to try to understand. Like, I was looking at Chinese and it's like character, and I recognized the kanji. Well, I guess in Chinese you would refer to it as kanji. But I recognized it by the Japanese kanji and not the actual Chinese pronunciation. I was like, oh, that's Hana, but it was Chinese too. I think Weekly has one of these days I might gamble with the voucher, but I kind of want to save my vouchers for something else. You know, I kind of wish Riichi City would roll out the the club feature that Amaski has like a club feature now. It's much better now that we're getting more people in it because when we had like 2 or 3 of us, I was carrying the club duties by myself because there's like they have a bingo that with flashes every week with random tiles that you have to get, and it is so hard to get like those last 3 or 4.
パンパン
I wasn't really trying to win this one because I was, damn it. I was so close. I wasn't really trying to win this one round because I just wanted to fill out a manuscript. Yeah, manuscript, by the way,
間違ってい
only
る
one
の
of
は
these
私
season
じゃ
pass things that has overflow rewards. So when you max out the level, you still get rewards from it, but you can't do that for a Matsuki season pass. We've been begging the team to put that on. Yeah, see, Loop and Lodge. You can keep getting rewards even if you repeatedly max out manuscript. Amazing. Okay. I don't feel bad about pulling on the gacha right now. When you have the lucky tokens, it doesn't really matter if you have 10. What matters, if you do draw 10, it matters more if you have vouchers for that. Because I guess that gets you better stuff. Anyway, the next, like, collab thing is some rom-com thing I've never heard of. And I don't really have any interest in getting into those characters, so I'm just gonna... I don't even really care that much about getting these though, because mostly when I pull on these banners, I'm usually just getting the reward stamps, the item shards and the outfit coupons. I also need to think if there's anything else that I need to do. Ooh! Ooh, I got black nail paint hand. Me. Oh my god. If I can switch, if I can put that in the Kagus, that would be so funny. Hold on. God, I used to ditch a doll. How? Got like quick, make a whole shake. Alright. Let's stick to Psycho until she's at level 2. I think the ones that I have already sent you max. Okay. So okay. Yeah, all of these that I have were obtained on play polls. So, Sadie and Kana are like the 2 characters to get automatically. Sheena was the first one I got on play poll. Then Kagi, Mariluka, Absi, Psycho, Kin, Shizuki, Greenbug, Nania. Oh my god, I forgot I named her Chimu Makoto. That's Yurika, she's blind. And then Cookie-Run-chan, who has a really, 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 really annoying voice, but I really like her character design. So, unfortunately, it's just wasted on. I got you 10 item shards, oh my god. Shirikabara, So I get them changed. Well, okay, Shizuki has a memo and of awakening items that you need. So it might be her or next. Cause I have awakened Elsie and she's in a
あなた
depending
の
on
教
the
え
time out
を
for
受
it.
け入れる準備がで
But
き
yeah,
ました
this lobby cracks me up every time I see it.
私たちの魂に染み渡
Okay. I know I'm probably, oh my god, 96 and bulky and 34 and dirty. Damn, I gotta bump up by the end of the week. Uh, listen, anything else? I don't think I was gonna do anything else. Yeah, because if you top up, you can give, instead of 2 chances, could you get 10? I don't know if that goes up if you keep spending money on it, but I haven't really had a reason to spend money on it again. I might do outfit tag, but I don't know yet. Yeah. Quintessential quintuplets does apparently super popular rom-com anime that I've never heard of in my entire life, despite having my, like, finger on the pulse of everything. I think it's, fictional fake. Yes, so stay epic. Guess we need you to stand out there and not skim the outfit. Guess I know it's snowing. Either way. I also should use. Well, I have this open. Let me click. I don't think I have any really. Had a baseball bat. I do have a very cushy. I don't have the cushiest one in the animation. That's like the only thing I'm missing. Do I have cushiest title from last year? I don't think I do. Unless I have so fucking many. I can't tell you what that looked like. We use the Christmas stuff in man. Merry Christmas! It's Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Chrysler! Okay. Ah. Like 10 minutes and like 10 minutes. I think I might actually. Yeah, there's 12 minutes left, so. I wonder if I can get in the game of silly ways. Maybe I can. Maybe I can. Maybe just one. It's a SpongeBob episode. Maybe just one more. I also don't know how long I'll last in the tournament today. But also the tournament is another one of those be prepared to lose. Come on, hey? Why these people? I thought more people would be out there, yeah. Then again, I am, unfortunately, pretty conditioned to waiting like 10 minutes to queue up for an HK game in a match key for some reason. I don't know why they have such a hard time matching me into games, like, quickly enough. I'm gonna get my nails done again. We have a really good nail place here. I hate doing my own nails because I can do my left hand okay, but I'm not ambidextrous.
ではポン。
That's not this one.
怯えないでね。試してみたいだけなんだ。
Yeah, I think pretty much how it looks. With Lion gives me something, but it also I can't remember exactly what it gives. It's been a long time since someone's released my flow code.
では
But yeah, if you're redeeming that for the first time, I know that you get something. But it's like a mutually good deal.
「ポン」それから「チー」それから「ポン」それから
Someone's car alarm is going up outside, but my voice changer mic suppression is so good you can't hear it.
「ロン」
I haven't gotten the win yet. I'm able to player hacks.
え、大丈夫だよね。ロン
Yippee!
ロン、これで終わりですか？ロン 私の勝ち。
Ah, I'm a lot player than with months.
「人生は短いんだから」。
Okay, we have 5 minutes. I think the good thing about joining tournaments is that it doesn't affect your aggro. When we first started playing, my boyfriend was like, buy the channel and it's not affect your aggro stay day, and I like the digital equivalent of copying by the shoulders, and it's like you don't want this to affect your bike because you constantly lose. It is so rare to even get to the second round. And then look at the goddamn the tomatoes. This looks so much worse than the default. So did you even try? That's what that doesn't. Just clear out the store. Oh, I keep thinking this red door up here is. Yeah, there was an update where they made they made some of the notifications so small it's like you can barely see when something's live in the chat. Bad game design 101. Yeah, now people think I might not be able to comment on game design, but I actually can because I used to take game design. And maybe the thing I think I get to comment on is graphic design. I usually just say that's what my major was, even though my overall degree is a Bachelor of Fine Arts. And then my concentration was graphic design, but I think that's semantics. I should be able to say that graphic design is my degree. said that SpongeBob did. I like to college. How many rounds of this 2 million? All of them! Doesn't want a single one gets eliminated in first round. Many such cases. We got to this tournament. I'll cut the stream and eat and take a shower because I feel like I need to wash myself of this. Mission players don't go to heaven, we go to Chinese heaven. That's alright, I just didn't think it was gonna be Chinese is all. Okay. Here we go, this is where I'm going to be judged. I'm looking at this tabletop and I'm wondering why it looks so great how there's some color differences between my monitors because my left side one that I usually have it on, that's like a best rubbish down one. That's not the one with the great epic color profile that I use on my right side monitor. But even if I move it over to that, it still looks so grayed out. Like, why is it like that? It's like the only tabletop I have that has this gray look to it. Like they put a gray color multiply layer on top of it and tip the opacity down some. I have heard of it, but I have not played it. There's other kind of mission-themed games I've played, like Demonic Mission and Alpenzo, but those are more like funny hand builders and not necessarily
ここでカン
playing Mission the way that intended. I think Demonic Mission is like the Mission equivalent of Balacha, from what I understand about Balacha. I need to do like a streamed one of Demonic Mission just like to show everybody how crazy that game is. Once you know what you're doing, that game gets really fun.
ポンするわね
Also, these two AFK players. I feel like I haven't been seeing a lot of AFK players in the tournament lately. Which is weird. I feel like when I first started playing Riichi City, like, there would at least be one. There's some whole first rounds where I'm the only player that's not AFK. Easiest way to get as far in the tournament as you can. There's also a game on my wish list called Your Dad Mission, which is it has a cheating element to it. I don't know if it's as insane as Blackout, but it's been on my wish list for a while because it only just released like a couple days ago.
Riichi. Ron.
Haha, yes, we're not the AFK players. Send them to the Shadow Realm. Yes, okay, I know. Don't yell at me. I don't know if it's because I have, like, family damage to my motor, but I don't know why it's not showing there at the time. I mostly just never set one, which is so weird when you already have a character that's not default one.
リーチ。
As long as I can hold
No.
on to that right line.
リーチ一発ピンフ赤ドラ1。もうオーラスなの？リーチ。怯えないでね。リーチ、私にお手柔らかにしない方がいいわよ。その優しさは報われないわよ。つも神の領域へ。リーチつもピンフドラ2マンガン。やったわ、私の
Yes!
勝利ね。
Both of the AFK players stumped. That is how it should be. You shouldn't be allowed to advance in this tournament if you're AFK and not even playing it.
ポン。リーチ。怯えないでね。
Nagkaroon
マジックブーストポン。C。ロン。遊びはここまでだ。シュン。
No, I took you. Oh my god, what is this? That's better than I thought I was gonna get. Go. Yippee! Welcome to Awakening! Okay. Well, I didn't waste like that much time that I thought I was going to. I need to get my legs back up. But I think that's really all I have to show for the stream. Because I think I got all my weekly daily stuff done, yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm going to cut it here and then have the succulent Chinese meal. Probably won't be Chinese, actually. I have been that sour. Okay. But thank you for coming to the stream today. Let me go look at my calendar. I think I'll be able to stream just fine next week. Same time around 3 p.m. Let's see. So next Sunday is the 14th. I should probably get the stream done without interruption. So, probably we'll have another stream till next week, is ideal. Sometimes things change. Sometimes I get more spontaneous. But you know the drill. If you like a video, remember to like the video, comment the video, and subscribe to see more videos like this. But that'll be it for me